What's up everybody, Tim with Great Lakes Flying Outdoors. I've been asked for some time to put together a how to get started video for silversmithing and finally got around to doing it. So this is by no means a catch-all, this is not an absolute, this is just kind of my opinion on how to get started, but I'm going to show a couple of the different devices or furnaces, torches, molds, things like that that you could use, and you can kind of do what you want with this information. There's lots of videos out there that are going to tell you what they're using is the right tool. Personally, I feel like the most important thing is what are you looking to make? I use a big furnace to do big pours. I use small hand torches to do small pours. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I have a vast range of different size molds that I like to use. Most of them I make. I got a different size crucibles right there, a little hand one up to the 1,000-gram ones or bigger. So here we got the Smith Little Torch. I wanted to use this as an example because it really represents a small torch, big torch, whatever, but basically it's a torch that uses oxygen as an accelerant with some other gas. Oxygen propane, oxygen MAP gas, but more likely oxygen and acetylene is what what I'm trying to represent with this torch here. It's about $160. This thing actually has multiple torch heads you can use, so you can do soldering with it as well. But great little system, and it's just an excellent representation of what you can get.
All right, we got it on. We have the oxygen. Get a pretty good flame. The only thing I don't like about this system is you run out of oxygen really fast, and you really need that oxygen to help accelerate the MAP gas's capability. So that's this one. It's a lot of fun. I like it. You can do about any size in the small, half ounce, up to like 3, pushing 5. It's not very easy with this one, but you could definitely push about 5 ounces with this. Just takes a little while to make sure you're really heating everything up. If you turn the oxygen off last, it'll pop really loud.
Alright, next we have the Aptly Parts APHT-3W single burner hand torch. That's exactly what search criteria you want to use. I got this on Amazon. It's like $38. Great little torch. It was the first one I started out with. Didn't come with the gas. Got to get your own gas. But this one you can do about 3 to 4 ounces, pushing 4. But great little hand torch. Amazing little guy to get started with. Alright, finally we have my favorite to use, the propane furnace or forge, whatever you want to call it. You can use electrical ones too, but I've talked to a lot of people. I've always had a hard time trying to buy one because of the reviews, and typically the reviews say these things break. Doesn't mean that's a truth about electrical furnaces, but just be careful. So with this furnace, you can do really small pours, half ounce, and you can go on up to the biggest one I've done was about 40 ounces. I just purchased a 2,000-gram crucible, so I'm hoping to do even bigger than that this summer. But propane furnaces are great. They're not very expensive. This one was about $280. Got it off Etsy. from what I understand, you could make these. Most people say you really can't go wrong with a propane furnace because they're so simple. The biggest thing with them is make sure the hoses that you've gotten with the system that you've either purchased or made don't leak. You can check leaks by just simply spraying a little bit of soapy water on it and turning the gas on. If you see bubbles, you got a leak. But yeah, using propane furnace has just changed the way I do pours, changed the size I get to do pours. That's why I make such large molds, basically. So, pretty important piece of equipment to have in your arsenal if you're going to actually be taking silversmithing serious. But if not, if you're just playing around, get the hand torches. But for the price, you really can't beat what these things are capable of doing. All right, next we're going to show you crucibles. I actually really don't like graphite. I like these ceramic crucibles because you don't have to do any sort of curing. There's no residue left over. You've got various sizes. The one I've got here, I believe, is about 1,000. The one I just picked up was about 500, and then this one is 2,000 grams. You can do pretty big pours of these. This one I know I can do over 1 kilo with. I haven't gotten to use it very much, but great little setup of crucibles here. So the crucibles that I personally like are O'Toole World crucibles. You can get them on Amazon. They're really not that expensive, and I have found them to be very reliable. And unlike graphite molds, they don't have to be cured. I really haven't had any issues with them cracking, breaking, whatever. But the nice thing is you don't have to use a bunch of borax or flux to cure these things to prevent breakage, because I've found with graphite molds especially, the curing process is not a fine science, and typically you end up with a lot of residue, which can actually ruin the pour that you try to do. So, it's up to you what you want to do, but my personal recommendation is to use ceramic crucibles. All right, finally we have the molds. So you can purchase them. I've got an iron casting flask. That's what the one in black is. But I like to make them because making them allows me to create a mold that is long and wide, whatever, deep. It really just opens up the possibilities for whatever you want to cast. I did an axe head last summer. I've done full-size knives. My goal is to do a full-size sword, full-size pistols. So with each type of, big piece, small piece, whatever, you're going to need a mold that fits it and fits it properly. Making these wood molds, I'll probably make another video about it, but they're incredibly easy to make. They just take a little time for the glue to dry. But, making or buying, it's not really an expensive investment, but obviously it's something you have to get. So that casting flask I got off of Amazon, I think it was like $60. The cool thing is with molds is every time I've made a new one, a bigger one, wider, deeper, whatever, I've learned new techniques through just the randomness of what the new mold offers me for just whatever I'm doing. So molds are an absolute something you need for metalsmithing, and the cool thing is you got a ton of options. All right, last piece of important kit for your getting started with metalsmithing is going to be having some sort of tool to clean up your piece. I have a flex shaft. That's what I primarily use. It's a foot pedal driven Dremel, more or less, and there you go. I use the Fordham flex shaft. It's like around $300. You can get them for a little cheaper, but it's an absolute important necessity to have when you're going to be working in the metalsmithing world. You know, as you can see, I use all sorts of bits and burrs, polishing wheels, and that allows me to take my sand cast piece, which is never going to come out perfect, and kind of clean it up. As you can see here, this piece is a little rough. I poured it in the cold, lots of porosity. You know, you're never going to make a perfect piece, so mold creation and then being really good at polishing your piece afterwards is what's going to make your piece stand out from the rest. So like I said, you're going to have to get some sort of device to clean up your tools. So I highly recommend a flex shaft if you're going to be taking this serious. If you're just goofing around, just get a Dremel, not a big deal. But like I said, these pieces are a little pricey, but worth it in the end. Finally, be safe out there. Wear shoes, wear safety glasses, ear protection when you're cleaning up your pieces using the Dremel. It's really easy to get hurt doing this, but it's also really easy not to get hurt. I've only been burnt a few times, even though a lot of the videos and pictures you'll see, it looks like I should have been hurt from whatever I'm doing. So be safe out there, enjoy. Please ask some questions if you'd like. I love talking about this stuff, but good luck to all of you in your future pouring endeavors.